crafty people, this is Ellen with EGI Designs. Today I'm coming at you with this beautiful card that I made using the new Gina Designs Floral Friendship card kit. In this particular stenciling, I used the Mega Bloom stencil, and I used some of the stamps and dies also in the card kit. And then I have on the inside here one of the stamps from the kit, and I used the Wild Wisteria paper as a background for that. And it's kind of cool because when you close it, you get that little pop of color there. And then I used glisten stickles as the flower centers. If you can see the sparkles on there. And also with the sentiment, I cut it out twice out of the Wild Wisteria cardstock and then layered the top layer on that. So if you look from the side, you get the Wild Wisteria. So I thought that looked pretty cool. So I have a bunch of things to go through, but when you do stenciling or use a stamp on Kraft, what can happen is that the ink will go into the paper and the colors won't be as vibrant as you would like them to be. So I wanted to show you a trick for that. So if you look on here, the friends are flowers in the garden of life. This is if you stamped it just regularly. This is the same exact color. Okay. This one is that I inked with white pigment ink first. So it makes the purple in this case pop off the page. Whereas this one is exactly the same color, but I did not ink it first with the white. So that can kind of show you the difference. So if you're looking to make colors pop on Kraft cardstock, then you want to use white pigment ink first, and I'm going to show you how to do that. Let me just set this card out of the way. Alright, I had received as a free gift with an order, I think from scrapbook.com, this Mintay Papers fancy card little booklet. So it comes like this, and you have this long thing. It's like 12 inches by about 4 1/8. So you can kind of customize it however you want. This is 300 GSM, so it is very sturdy paper. So I'd received these and I was kind of like, well, what do I want to do with this? So I decided that I wanted to use that new stencil. So I want to show you, but with this you get to decide how big or you want the edge to be sticking out. So I have another one that I had made. This one has a bigger edge here. So when you put cardstock behind it, you'll have a bigger border there. On this particular one, it has a smaller one. So this one, I had scored it at 5 1/4, and then this one, to give the bit a little bit bigger, I had scored it at 4 3/4. So what you can do is, kind of think about, do you want a big space or a smaller space? What size card do you want to end up with? And so what you want to do is kind of figure that out, and then you would put your score line where you want that. I'm using these papers today, but you could use anything that you have. Cut a strip, cut 8.5 by 11 long ways, and then you could use a border die to cut this out. You can also use, I was looking at my stuff, this is from Master Layouts 19, but if you wanted to do partial die cutting, you could also turn this and use this on the bottom and get that same kind of scallop effect. But if you have a border die, that would be really easy to do. So in this case, on this one, just for an example, I'm going to go with 5. So this is my score buddy. I like to use my Cricut scoring tool because it's got a little bit of it's like a soft rounded point, but it gets right in here. So I'm going to go at 5. Like I said, this is really thick paper, so I'm going to go a couple times and then you just fold it and make sure it's lined up, and then use your bone folder to squish that down. So now you have you can choose how long you want this part. Like you could leave this like this and have a very tall card. This would be 7 inches, which could be kind of cool. It's almost sort of mini slimline-ish. In this case, to kind of keep the proportions correct, I'm going to put this at 5 3/8, which is the line between a quarter and a half. So now we have our little card base. And then you can measure here and see how big this is, and then you can put your colored panel in there. So that is how you can do that. On my card, like I had said, I had, this is just a sample I had cut out, so I know what these look like. I had cut this out, so I did that, and then I used a stamp on there for the inside. Alright, so I just want to show you how to do this, because there are a couple things that you need to be careful of. So here I have the new Gina K Design sticky mat, and you want to take off the cover and keep that, because you want to keep it covered up so it doesn't get dust on it. This is kind of like a sticky mat, like how like a Cricut mat or a Silhouette mat is. It's got that like weird film kind of thing on it. Alright, what are we doing? Okay, so this is the one I had already cut, and I'm just going to put this on here. And I only want my Mega Bloom to be on the very front, so I'm going to tape this off with post-it note tape, but you could also just use a post-it note or washi tape or pixie tape or any of that kind of stuff. So I'm just going across here because I want to make sure I don't get the stenciling onto the back. Okay. So the first thing we need to do is we need to lay down our white base. So we will need the 2 biggest, most open stencils. So these 2 are the detail layers, and these 2 are the solid layers. So I think I'm gonna go like this. I just kind of want to see where these leaves end up. gonna go with this. You can kind of, you know, size it, figure it out how you want to put that on there. Alright, so I have over here a variety of inks. I have the Lilac Trio, and I also, this one is Gina K White Pigment ink. You want to make sure that for your pigment inks and for your dye inks that you have separate brushes, because you do not want to contaminate your dye inks with pigment inks and vice versa, because they're different properties. So here's my white brush. I'm just going to load that up. And I'm just going to fill this whole thing in. I'll speed it up a little bit. Okay, so once you have that layer down, so this is going to stay wet longer because the ink is sitting on top of the paper. It's not seeping into the paper. So I just give that a quick dry with my Ranger heated tool. Okay, and then we will attempt to line this one up too. That's the hardest part of using stencils, I think. Okay, same thing, I'm just going to go through and stencil these. Alright, so I'm just going to set that aside to dry while I clean these off, if I can find my cloth. Because you want it to dry before you go to the next step. So I have alcohol in a repurposed spray bottle. You just spray and wipe it off. This is the easiest way to clean stencils. I'm just going to try this again. You just want to be a little careful with the heat tool because you don't want to melt the mat at all. Alright, so we can get started. And we'll put the first one back on again. And just line it up over what you had already done. Okay, so for this design I'm going to start with the light lilac. So my purple brush, and what I recommend is having a paper towel roll nearby. And it's really easy to just clean off your brushes, just rub it on the paper towel. But what you want to do is once you put the ink on here, you don't want to dip back into the ink without rubbing off, just in case some of the pigment got on this brush. Right, so I'm gonna, it's kind of a little white there. So I'm gonna go back in, but first I'm gonna wipe off that pigment ink because I don't want to contaminate this brush, or the ink pad, sorry. Alright, now I'm gonna add a little shading in the middle with the medium lilac. And again, brushing it off so I don't get that white into the ink pad. Okay. All right. To me is grumbly. Let's see. So now we're going to use the detail. I'm going to use the dark lilac on this one. So now we have the flower done. Sometimes if the stenciling is off a little bit from where you put the white, you get kind of like this cool highlight effect. Alright, so now I'm switching over to the spruces. So I'll start with the light. And now onto the detail layer. I'm gonna go with the dark spruce on this one. And I actually think I've forgotten on the other layer, I'm gonna go back and put a little bit of the medium for a just a little bit of shading. Alright, look at our beautiful flower. That is gorgeous. Look at how that turned out. And because we had the white underneath, that's what really makes the colors so vibrant, and they just pop and look amazing. Let me set this to the side. I just want to clean up my mat a little bit. You don't want to use alcohol on your sticky mat. It will take the little sticky off. So you just can use some water and a paper towel. Just give it a good wipe. And it will stain, and it doesn't affect it at all. But and then you can just put the cover back on. Alright, let's see. Alright, first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to dry this a little bit again, just so that everything is good. Alright. It's just so vibrant, and I love the way that looks. Alright, next step. I had cut this piece to go inside, and I'm going to put this in here because that's going to kind of determine our placement on the outside for the sentiment. I'm going to use my score buddy to help me line this up, but for this you can use glue, your tape runner, whatever works best for you. So what I like to do is just put this in the bottom here, so it's on the ledge, and then you just take this and just butt it up against that. So then you know everything is even and good to go. Okay, look how pretty that looks. Alright, now we need to decide on sentiment. It'd be good to put this up here. Your friendship means the world to me. I think I like that one. Looking high and low for my dies, and of course they're right on my desk. I love it. Okay. Trying to see if it'll fit on this piece. We can go on the back. So here again, we want to use the white first. And this is a new stamp, so I'm just rubbing the factory residue off with that. Pigment ink generally tends, well, at least white, tends to have like a squishy ink pad. It's not like felt, or it's more like a sponge. So you want to be really careful that you don't like smoosh this down, because then all the ink will go all over the place and you won't have crisp letters. So I'm just using my tool really gently there. Okay, so now we have our base layer for that. And you want to wipe the pigment ink off of there. And I like to keep my tidy towel in a little a DVD case. Okay, I'm just going to hit this with heat a little bit. I'm trying to be careful because I don't want to melt any of these things. Alright, so I'm going to use the dark lilac. And you can see how that really pops off the page because we put the white layer there. Alright, I'm just going to wash this again because again I don't want to get if there's any wet pigment, I don't want to get that into my dye ink. And there we go. I love the way that looks, and like it's really popping off the page. It looks great. Alright, I'm going to clean all this up. I'm going to use the die to cut this out, and I'm going to cut out a couple other layers with the Wild Wisteria, and I will be right back. Okay, so we have the card, and I cut this out, and I did actually put two layers. I die cut it out with the same die, and I put two behind there, so it gave it a little height there. Just gonna glue these and put this on. I'll use my reverse tweezers to help me place it. And I was trying to think, I kind of liked it up here, but then I kind of liked it down here, so I think I'm gonna put it down here. I'm going to bring in my new T-square ruler. This came in the Floral Friendship card kit. So you just line that up on the side. And I'm just going to scooch this so that it's touching on the bottom. Looks good, looks good. Alright, and on the inside I had put in the layer that we had cut, and I used the stamp from Floral Friendship, this, and I love the way it's like so delicate and kind of sketchy. I thought that looked really sweet. And I had scooched this up a little bit because I had cut this with the border so high and I didn't want it sticking out the bottom. So it is completely covered when it's in there. And so I think with the other ones, I'm going to use the stickles and just add a little drop just to the middle, give it a little sparkle. I like the way that that looks. Alright, so here is our beautiful card using a lot of the new Gina K Floral Friendship card kits. We also use Master Layouts 19. And so here's the inside of this one. We have this. And then we have this other one where I did one on each corner. I cut this a little bit lower so the border was smaller. And that's the inside for that one. I will list everything that I used today in the description box. I do have affiliate links. And come check me out over on Facebook. I post cards, videos, any crafty sales I come across, so it's a good resource to you. If you found value in this tutorial today, I would appreciate it if you could hit that subscribe button. I would love to have you as a subscriber. Alright, until next time, like, subscribe, and all that jazz, and have an amazing day. Take care.
Here are a couple more videos I thought you might like. Thanks so much for watching.